Have you ever achieved something you deeply want, if only to feel empty the next day? Have you reached a goal and found yourself immediately setting a new one, driven by an unease you can't explain? Have you looked around at your life, filled with comfort and security, and still felt as though something vital was missing? Welcome back to our channel. I'm so glad you're here. Today, we're diving deep into a question that gnaws at the soul of modern life. Why are we so hard to satisfy? What is this endless hunger inside us? And more importantly, how can we finally feel whole? Drawing on the profound insights of Chökyi Nyima Rinpoche, today's exploration will not only shed light on the psychology of dissatisfaction, but offer a path to real, grounded, and lasting contentment. If you've ever wondered why success doesn't fulfill you, or why happiness feels like sand slipping through your fingers, you are not alone, and you are in the right place. Chökyi Nyima Rinpoche, one of the most respected voices in contemporary Buddhist thought, makes a bold and confronting statement. All dissatisfaction comes down to two syllables: greed. But this greed is not just about money or possessions. It's more subtle, more insidious. It hides in our desire for perfection, in our hunger for control, in our obsession with the future. Let's take a moment to really understand what he means. Most people believe they are chasing happiness, but what they're often chasing is relief from insecurity, from fear, from feelings of unworthiness. So they run endlessly, trying to cover that wound with achievement, applause, attention, or comfort, but the wound remains. The running never ends. Greed, in this context, isn't just about wanting more, it's about the belief that more will finally make us okay. It's the internal whisper that says, "Oh, when I get this, then I'll be enough." But of course, that this keeps changing. Today it's a new job. Tomorrow it's a bigger house. Next week it's more followers. You are like a thirsty man drinking soulful water. Every sip deepens the thirst. The most dangerous thing about this form of greed, we think it's mobile. We dress it up in socially acceptable clothes. We call it ambition, improvement, drive. But underneath those names, we find the same old emptiness, masked, but not healed. Let's go even deeper. There's a story of a woman named Laura who spent years climbing the corporate ladder. Every promotion was followed by a celebration and then a crash. He'd feel restless, irritable, dissatisfied, so he'd set a new goal, convinced the next step would bring fulfillment. Never did. One day, he burned out. Her health collapsed. In the silence of recovery, he began asking questions he had never allowed himself to ask. Why do I keep needing more? What am I trying to prove? Laura's story is not rare. It's the story of millions. And Rinpoche says clearly, until we deal with the root, greed, we will keep running in circles. So what is the antidote? He offers three beautiful transformative practices: contentment, gratitude, and generosity. Let's begin with contentment. To be content is not to be complacent. It's not to give up or lower your standards. It's to recognize that your worth is not determined by what you achieve. Contentment is the radical act of saying, "I have enough, am enough, this moment is enough." But this isn't easy. You are conditioned from birth to measure our value by comparison. From school grades to salaries to social media, we're taught to look outward for proof of our inner worth. Contentment invites us to look inward instead. We find joy in what is already present. We breathe deeply and know this breath, this life, this now is already a miracle. Next comes gratitude. Gratitude is a shift in attention. turns our gaze from what's missing to what's present. It's a way of saying, I see the gift in this moment. Rinpoche teaches that even when things seem bleak, there is always something to appreciate: a warm bed, a kind word, the chance to begin again. There's a story of an old man who lost everything in a fire: his home, his belongings, his savings. When asked how he felt, he smiled and said, I still have my life, still have my hands, still have this breath. Everything else can be rebuilt. That is gratitude in action. It's not denial, it's wisdom. It's the choice to honor what remains instead of mourning what is gone. And finally, generosity. This may seem counterintuitive. How can giving ease our hunger? But in Buddhist psychology, generosity is one of the most powerful tools for dissolving greed. When we give, not out of guilt or obligation, but from the heart, we begin to dismantle the illusion of lack. We begin to feel abundance, not because we have more, but because we realize we need less. There's a beautiful paradox here. The more we give, the less we crave. The more we share, the more we feel full. One young man discovered this truth firsthand. Struggling with depression, he began volunteering at a local shelter. First, it was just something to fill the time, but gradually, as he served meals and listened to stories, something in him softened. He began to smile again. He felt needed, but more than that, he felt connected. His sense of isolation began to dissolve, and with it, his hunger for more. He said, helping others didn't fix all my problems, but it reminded me that I'm not alone, that there's something deeper than my desires. Here's a purpose. And that's what Rinpoche wants us to understand. Greed isolates us. It says, I'm not enough, must protect what I have, must outdo others. But generosity connects us. It says, we are enough, we can share, we belong to each other. In the full arc of this teaching, we come to a quiet but powerful conclusion. True satisfaction does not come from possessing, but from releasing, not from getting, but from giving, not from control, but from trust. And that, my friends, is where freedom begins. Let's now open the door to the realm of real-life transformations, examples that breathe life into these teachings and show us how ordinary people find extraordinary peace simply by turning inward and loosening the grip of greed. Take the story of Marcus, a successful tech entrepreneur who made millions before the age of 30. He had the life others envied, the luxury apartments, exotic vacations, invitations to elite circles, that every evening as he lay in bed, he felt hollow. He described it as hollow, quiet ache that no amount of money could silence. One evening, he stumbled upon a Buddhist talk online. The teacher said, "You do not suffer because you lack things. You suffer because you are identified with lack." That sentence struck him like lightning, flicked his world upside down. He began attending meditation classes, donating anonymously, and even took a sabbatical to volunteer in a rural school overseas. When he returned, his life looked similar on the outside, but inside, he was different. He said, "I stopped measuring my life by what I achieved, started measuring it by how I served." That is the power of a subtle shift, from what can I gain to what can I give? Or consider the journey of Alina, a single mother working 3 jobs just to get by. Her life was a constant struggle, and he often felt ashamed for not being able to provide more. But one day, a spiritual mentor told her, "You already give more than you know. Your strength, your love, your sacrifice, that is sacred." Alina started keeping a gratitude journal. He began to find moments of stillness during her commute, just a breath, a silent blessing for her children, a whispered prayer for peace. Her income didn't change, her hardships remained, but her heart grew spacious. He found herself smiling more, laughing easier. Her kids noticed the change. He didn't escape poverty, but she escaped the poverty of spirit that comes from believing you're not enough. And isn't that the deeper poverty Rinpoche speaks of? Not the lack of resources, but the lack of inner richness, a life full of things but starved of meaning, a calendar full of events but a heart empty of joy. 'Tis this silent epidemic that we must name and heal. You must understand that greed doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers, tells us we need one more compliment to feel worthy, one more success to feel safe, one more follower to feel seen. It hides behind our drive or discipline, even our spirituality, but the voice is always the same: you are not enough yet. And this is where the teaching hits home. You are already enough, not because of what you've done, not because of what others think of you, but because you are a living being, inherently whole, worthy of love. So how do we embody this wisdom? Let's make it personal. Begin each day with a moment of stillness before you check your phone, before you open the door to the world. Just sit, close your eyes, read, and ask yourself one question: what am I grateful for right now? It could be as simple as the warmth of your blanket, the sound of birds, or the fact that you're still alive. At that moment, root you in reality, not the virtual one on your screen, but the one pulsing in your chest. Then choose one act of generosity. It doesn't have to be big. Send a kind message. Let someone go ahead of you in line. Give your full attention to a friend who needs it. And as you do it, resist the urge to narrate it in your head. Just be in the giving. Let it be a meditation in motion. Finally, practice contentment. This doesn't mean suppressing your dreams. It means holding them lightly. Enjoy the journey towards your goals, but don't let them define your joy. Know that right now, even as things are incomplete, you are complete. One monk once said, the purpose of life is not to have what you want, but to want what you have. That's the path to peace, and it's available to all of us, not tomorrow, not when we retire, not when we figured it all out, but today, now, in this moment. We've heard from sages and teachers, but what about you? What would your life look like if you let go of the belief that more is better? What would it feel like to rest in enoughness, to live not from lack, but from fullness? You might think, but I still have bills, responsibilities, ambitions. Of course, this isn't about renunciation for its own sake. It's about transforming your relationship to desire. It's about stepping out of the trance of never enough and waking up to the sacredness of what already is. We live in a world that constantly tells us we are not enough. Open your phone and you're flooded with curated lives, sculpted bodies, perfect vacations, and success stories edited for public consumption. Every scroll is a whisper, sometimes loud, sometimes subtle, suggesting that your life is lacking, that your body is flawed, that your joy is outdated, that your worth is incomplete. And this environment, as Chökyi Nyima Rinpoche explains, is not neutral. It is a culture engineered around dissatisfaction. Why? Because dissatisfaction drives consumption. The more you feel incomplete, the more you die. The more you compare, the more you seek, and in seeking, you stay distracted from your essence, your stillness, your truth. But here's the great rebellion: to choose contentment in a world that profits from your discontent. This doesn't mean you delete all your apps and move to a monastery unless your heart calls you to. Means you become a conscious participant. You begin to notice the way media shapes your self-perception. You begin to question the metrics of worth you've inherited. Do you really need another promotion, or are you seeking validation you never received as a child? Do you really want a bigger house, or are you trying to fill an inner emptiness that no square footage can satisfy? Do you truly desire more followers, or are you afraid of being unseen? These are not easy questions, but they are necessary. Because the antidote to greed is not moral judgment, and it is clarity. And clarity comes from slowing down, from pausing in the rush of life to ask, what truly matters? What brings me peace, not just pleasure? What connects me to life, not just to my goals? Let me tell you a story from ancient Tibet. There was once a hermit who lived in a cave for over 30 years. Young monk, curious about enlightenment, climbed the mountain to visit him. After paying his respects, he asked a venerable master, "What is the secret to peace?" The old hermit smiled, poured him a cup of tea, and said nothing. The silence stretched for minutes. Finally, the young monk grew restless. "Please," he said, "I came a long way for wisdom." The hermit looked at him and said, "Do you see this cup?" "Yes," replied the monk. The hermit nodded. "It is full." The monk was confused. "What does that mean?" The hermit replied, "You come here full of ideas, full of seeking, full of ambition. Until you empty your cup, there is no room for peace." And that is the truth for all of us. Until we release our constant filling of schedules, of desires, of opinions, we will not taste the peace that comes from emptiness. Not the emptiness of lack, but the emptiness of spaciousness, of presence, of being. This is what Rinpoche paints us toward, and not a life without dreams, but a life where dreams rise from fullness, not from lack, life where ambition is rooted in joy, not in fear, life where desire becomes a celebration, not an escape. Live this way, we must become students of enoughness. We must practice the art of stopping, the art of breathing, the art of savoring what is already here. Try this experiment for one day. Instead of asking, "Oh, what's next?" ask, "Oh, what's new?" Eat slowly, speak with intention, listen without planning your reply, walk without checking your phone. Let the world come to you instead of chasing after it. You may be surprised by what you feel, not bored, but depth, not emptiness, but richness, not anxiety, but grace. And slowly, the ache of dissatisfaction begins to dissolve, not because your life has changed, but because your gaze has. Let's now consider the spiritual roots of all this. In Buddhist philosophy, suffering rises from three prisons: ignorance, aversion, and craving. These craving, also understood as attachment, greed, or thirst, is often the most pervasive in modern life. It whispers in every advertisement, every algorithm, every ambition unchecked by awareness. But here's the good news: every poison contains the seed of its own medicine. Craving, when seen clearly, can lead to devotion. The same fire that fuels addiction can, when purified, become the fire of purpose. The same hunger that drives us upward can be redirected inward, into the heart, into the breath, into the silence that connects all beings. That's why Rinpoche doesn't say "kill greed," he says, "see it, understand it, befriend it, trace it back to its root." Because at the root of greed is fear, and at the root of fear is disconnection from self, from others, from the present moment. So when you feel the tug of dissatisfaction, pause, don't resist it, read it with curiosity. Skit, what are you really pinned to? Maybe it's pinned to a part of you that needs love. Maybe it's pinned to an old wound that was never hurt. Maybe it's showing you that your life has become too fast, too full, too loud. And in that moment of awareness, you are free. You no longer need to act out the script. You can write a new one. Script that begins not with "I need more," but with "I have enough." A script that turns every act of presence into a revolution. A script where the hero doesn't conquer the world, but returns home to themselves. Because here's the truth, the world doesn't need more people chasing things, needs more people rooted in peace, wholeness, and presence. And that can be you. Let us now return to the essence of what Chökyi Nyima Rinpoche has illuminated for us, a path of radical honesty, quiet strength, and inner revolution. A life no longer dictated by the pulse of craving, but guided by the steady light of wisdom. Living this truth is not a one-time awakening. It is a daily return. Every morning, you begin again. Every breath, you remember again. Every time you feel the itch of dissatisfaction, you pause, not to suppress it, not to judge it, but to greet it. You say, here you are again. What lesson do you bring today? And in that recognition, craving loses its grip. You've taken the first step toward mastery. But we are not meant to walk this path alone. The world will keep selling you stories of not enough. That's why you need others who are walking a different road. People who remind you of your worth when you forget. People who live simply and love deeply. People who've tasted the peace of enough and invite you to the same feast. Find those people. Be one of those people. Perhaps it begins in your home, or at your workplace, or in your friend circle. Perhaps it begins here, on this channel, in this community. Location matters less than the intention. What matters is that we hold each other accountable, not to achieve more, but to be more awake. So what can you do starting today? Create a ritual of gratitude. Every evening, write down 3 things you are thankful for. Not big, dramatic things, but the quiet gifts: a smile from a stranger, the way light filtered through a tree, the fact that your heart kept beating. Build a habit of mindful consumption. Before you buy anything, pause, ask yourself, do I need this? Will it add joy or just clutter? Am I filling a hole that no object can satisfy? Over time, you'll notice a shift. You'll become more deliberate, more free. Cultivate generosity as a daily practice, not just money, though that has its place, but time, presence, forgiveness. When you give from a place of abundance, you remind yourself that you are not poor, you are overflowing. And above all, return to the breath. It is the anchor of the present. The breath doesn't ask for more, just is, rising, falling, like the ocean, eternal. If you can trust the breath, you can trust life. To close, I want to leave you with a story that perfectly captures the soul of this teaching. Young monk, frustrated with his progress, approached his master and asked, "Why can't I find peace? I meditate, study, do everything right." The master looked at him kindly and said, "Come with me." He walked into the forest until they came to a river. The master picked up a handful of sand and said, "This sand is your desire. Now hold it tightly." The monk clenched his fist. The sand slipped through his fingers. "Now," the master said, "hold it gently." The monk opened his palm. The sand rested there peacefully, unmoving. The master smiled. Peace is not found by holding life tightly. It is found by letting it rest gently in your hand. That is the final wisdom Rinpoche offers us, not to stop dreaming, but to stop clinging, not to stop seeking, but to seek with openness, not to escape the world, but to embrace it lightly. You are not broken, you are not behind, you are not lacking. You are already home. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me today. If this message resonated with you, if you felt seen, if you felt understood, please take a moment to share your thoughts in the comments below. Your voice matters here. Your story could be the light someone else needs. And if you'd like to support this channel, consider subscribing, liking this video, or becoming a member. Your support allows us to continue creating content rooted in timeless wisdom and everyday transformation. Until next time, be well, be gentle with yourself, and remember, everything you've been seeking is already within you. You don't need more to feel complete, you just need to return to what's true. Thank you for watching.